What is going on, everybody? This is Aaron of 49ers First Takes here with Mike of SF Gold Rush. This is 49ers Unfiltered. Man, it's been a while, Mike. I would say at least a month since we got together and talked. You were on vacation, enjoying yourself, getting some rays in the boat and all that happy stuff, and now you're back. And we're gonna we'll touch on the draft. We'll kind of touch on the whole Niners offseason. We'll talk a little bit about like holes they still have left on the roster, the amount of cap space they have, is something coming, all that stuff for the next hour or so. But first of all, how are you feeling after your vacation? And are you still as pissed off as you were about the draft as you were about 10 days ago?
I know I missed you, Aaron. It's felt like it's been so long, but I happened to take vacation during the biggest news drop that we've had all off season, of course. So, am I a little less mad? No, I am more just in acceptance mode and just going along for the program. I really don't feel that much better about it, but we have time to talk about that in the show.
Yeah. The biggest takeaway from the draft was the Niners reached, and they're the worst drafting team in the NFL, and John Lynch should be fired, and it just whatever narrative you want to go with, everybody was crapping on the Niners. I can't say I do a deep dive on everybody, and I don't do a ton of mock drafts. So I think one of the things that happens in the offseason is we do a ton of mock drafts. Everybody does a ton of mock drafts, right?
Yeah.
They fall in love with players. Everybody falls in love with players. And then the Niners go and they completely monkey wrench it and be like, we're not getting any of those guys. In fact, we're going to trade back twice, get out of the first round, and then we're going to take a wide receiver that nobody had mocked, but that is something that we're looking for that fits our program, and that at least behind the scenes, he was at least guys like Daniel Jeremiah. There's the other guys I can't think off the top of my head. But he was making his moves towards the right before the draft of someone who was catching fire. So that pick happened, and I think we all 49er fans all went, who?
Here we go again.
This is what everybody did when they pick Deshaun Stribling.
Who?
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
what everybody did. Okay,
Yes.
Including me, because see, I'm not pretending to be a draft expert.
See, that's why I think we talked about it, right? We're like, do you guys do a draft breakdown or mock draft stuff? And I'm like, I think I said on the Cover 3 podcast, I was like, I don't like to look at certain guys because I know the Niners are not going to take them anyway. And it's just a waste of time. And they did exactly what I thought. So,
I know you're not a big fan of the pick, but you listen to, I stream with Sterling.
mm-hmm.
I watch Sterling. There's still a consensus that they reached at the pick regardless. At least based on mocks, everybody, Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, all those guys. A lot of people seem to think that the Niners were going for Concepcion at that pick, and then it did happen. There was other Cassius Howell, I think, was the edge rusher that a lot of people thought the Niners might go for. I think Cassius Howell was gone by that point. So they moved out. They went into Friday. They hadn't picked yet. And then they go make a pick. One of the things that I've gotten a chance to look at was his numbers prior to last year. And you take into account that he had a coach that was on his way out.
Yeah.
Can you name his quarterback?
No.
And you look at some of his statistics here. Let's see if I can bring them up here. Pretty interesting stats. Let's see if I can find it. So let's see here. We got Washington State. Well, I've got to go all the way back to 2001, 2002. College career, Washington State. 25 games, 95 receptions, 1,073 yards, 10 receiving touchdowns.
That's better than Pearsall.
Yeah, led the All Pac-10 freshman. Then there was led Washington State in receiving categories in 2022, 44 receptions, 471 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2023 season, 51 receptions, 602 yards, 5 touchdowns. The 2023 season, 2023-24, limited to like 4 to 5 games. He had a hand injury. He had 14 receptions, 198 yards, 1 touchdown. 2024, 12 games, 11 starts, 52 receptions, 883 yards, 6 touchdowns, led home Oklahoma State in receiving yards. Multiple 100-yard games.
That was like his best year, I think, right?
Yeah. So his Oklahoma State total, 66 receptions, 1,080 yards, and 7 TDs. He's not like the most overproductive player, but he is a productive college player.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then, of course, we have the Ole Miss. You know, he really didn't shine too much last year. And, you know, that was with the big one that everyone was going after, like a 55 receptions, 811 yards, 6 TDs. Everybody was talking about the fact that he didn't really have a lot of great film until the college football playoffs. Fact of the matter is, he is a productive college player. And he has a lot of physical traits that at least I like. He's got size. He's got speed. What's the one thing we didn't have against Seattle? Speed. Yeah. He has speed. He has size. He has huge hands. He blocks really, really good. If you watch some of his highlights of him blocking, pretty ridiculous. Dudes. So, what was your take? Were you just like, did you have your mind set on a particular position? Like, what was it that just really pissed you off about the pick?
I think it was, you know, I was actually texting through a buddy and we're like going through like who was left. And I'm like, okay, you know, there's still so much talent left on the board. Like we were very surprised. And I'm like, wow, you know, they can pretty much go any direction here and I'll be happy with it. But then when they pulled the rabbit out of the hat and pulled out a name that nobody knew, I was like, dude, we're really doing this again? Like it's every year they do this. And it's like, that's why I can't just be like, oh, well, he has good physical traits. Like I made a video talking about you don't take a flyer on pretty much your de facto first round draft pick because of his physical traits, right? You do that in later rounds, in rounds 4 through 7. You get the athlete, you get the guy who's a, you know, good blocker. He's tall, he's, you know, he's unrefined, but you take a flyer on him because he has the potential to be, you know, pretty good. In rounds 1 through 3, I think you really have to take someone who can produce immediately on the field and be an impact player. There's too many times where they go through rounds 1 through 3 where they're taking flyers on somebody or they miss scout somebody that doesn't produce. And you go back to Jordan Watkins, right? Like, why couldn't he get on the field? Nobody knows. He was injured. He was in the doghouse. I don't know. But he produced just as much, I think, as Stribling did, right? And he still couldn't see the field, even with all the wide receiver trouble that we had last year.
That was the thing that, and I hate to cut you off. That was the thing. Like when I saw the pick, you know, and you do the deep dive and you kind of figure like, oh, okay, he's got some skills. He's been productive in college. The Niners have a specific way they want to use him. That's a given. He's about the same size as Jauan Jennings with way more speed, huge hands, you know, big catch radius. But like you said, going for a player that not a lot of people knew who he was coming into that particular area. And like when you pick early, you want to go with sure things. Yes. You want to go with the sure bet. And I feel like the thing with this draft wasn't very deep. Two position groups really stood out, edge and receiver. So like I don't really bag the Niners whole draft and as a whole, because I mean, this draft was filled with a lot of good players, but not a lot of great players. Like next year's draft is supposed to be one of the most talented drafts. Quarterback, everything, you name it.
But you know, they're saying that he was moving up draft boards and people wanted to draft, but who's saying that? Like, where is this coming from? And he's a 5th-year college player that can run 2 routes, right? He runs like hitches and go routes, and his route tree is very undefined. And you're taking a wide receiver in the first round who's going to be your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 this year, right? Like you don't take someone who's that raw, especially at running routes, that early. That's someone you take a flyer on later. And if the Jacksonville Jaguars wanted to take him in the 2nd round, have at it, Jags. Go ahead. because your scout should be able to find somebody else in a deep wide receiver class that can do the stuff that he does, right? Like
A lot
a
of
great
people
block.
have him. A lot of people have him more skilled than like Makai Lemon and some of these guys because of the speed, because of just his physical traits.
But
Like
where did that come from?
it's just that's the draft every year though, Mike.
Yeah.
Like Lori said, I don't think it was a flyer. The guy was moving up draft boards. After the draft, there's a lot of talk. There was a lot of movement. He was very, very popular right before the draft. Daniel Jeremiah, I respect him. He said that late in the process, he started to hear a lot about Stribling, having a potential to go a lot earlier than he thought, right? And it happened. The Niners were that team. I know why you're mad, and I understand why 49er fans are mad. If this was a pick coming off of a Super Bowl championship or a team that had just won the Super Bowl or got really far and they're just like, player here, player there way. The problem I have is Kyle falls out of love with players all the time.
Yep.
So like part of me is like, I'm excited for this kid and I want to see him kind of prove everybody wrong. I want to see him be good. But Kyle is so freaking, he can be such a prick a lot of times. And like, you got Watkins that everybody was in love with. He hasn't really seen the field in his NFL career. Same thing with Cowing with the injury. There's nothing stopping him from doing the exact same thing to Stribling. And that's the concern. And to me, the less
I think he has to play him, right? Doesn't he have to play him? He's the de facto number 1 pick this year. Like he's got to see the field. He can't.
You would think so, right? You would think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who's your starters this year? So you're going to go Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, if he could ever like stay healthy more than like 25 minutes at a time. I've been really overly Christian Kirk.
Jordan Watkins got to see the field. I mean,
Jordan Watkins. I think your starters are going to be Evans, Pearsall, Stribling, and Kirk. Those are going to be your 4 wide receivers. I have a feeling that Demarcus Robinson might get cut this year.
Yeah,
I really do. Listen, man, I am not going to crap on any of this until I told everybody this. I said, I know Mike, because we were talking about you on the Cover 3 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared your opinions. And I said to everybody, I said, I have no problem going back in January. And if Mike wants to just completely just like, I told you, these sucked. All these guys are trash. I will take that medicine. I will sit there and I will eat shit and like the taste of it. I just don't want to give up on these guys yet. Like they haven't even touched the practice field. Like,
yeah, no, it's not even really the players, Aaron. Like you said, like these guys have a lot of traits that are like, okay, that's cool. Like there's potential there. What I don't like is what was left on the board at the time, right? The talent that was still there. And like they could have gotten these guys probably later on, especially like Black, the running back. Like I don't know, like that was kind of a reach, like a big reach.
Let's talk about that.
It was just like the value of where they picked these guys and who was still left on the board. That's what drives me crazy, because this is not a one-off. This is not, something like, oh, they kind of blew it this time. No, this is every single year. And I don't see why John Lynch gets the benefit of the doubt all of a sudden. Like, why does he get it out of the blue? What has he done to earn it?
Well, I mean, they have been at the Super Bowl twice, and
because of their picks in rounds 1 through 3.
Early in the process, they hit though. It doesn't matter if you hit early, as long as you hit.
Well, it does. It does. That's the reason why our roster is in kind of shambles right now. We're one injury away from having like a disaster, right?
What says good? What gives you a better like feeling when you have scouts that are able to find people later in the draft? That to me, I do feel good about, even though we miss on early guys, but like the scouting has been there for players that, I mean, Kittle was a 5th rounder, Warner was a 3rd rounder, Greenlaw was Greenlaw a 5th rounder too? I forget.
Like your odds of hitting a blue chip player late in the, like, you're not going to find your franchise quarterback in the 7th round every year, right?
No.
Like that's such a
there wasn't really any blue chip players in this draft though.
No, I understand, but I'm talking about in drafts in general, right? In the past 10 years.
Okay.
Like they've missed on tons of blue chip
Sure.
players, and even using draft capital to trade up, right? Every single time they've traded up, they've used multiple draft picks on guys where they've blown it. So
Do you think that the
that's the
Trey
reason
Lance
why the
pick?
depth on our roster is so low.
Do you think that the Trey Lance miss set us behind more than anything?
Oh yeah, of
Because
course.
we had 2 first-round picks that year. You could take those 2 picks and you could draft a pass rusher and a offensive
Yeah,
tackle, or a pass rusher and I don't know, another pass rusher, a pass rusher and a receiver, whatever. That move was the dumbest move so far, right?
yeah. That might be the dumbest move in NFL draft history.
Of
That could
course.
be up there top 3 worst moves. Might be the worst one of all time.
The Kalen Black pick to me was one of those where he would have been available. A lot of people said like 35 to 50 picks later, right? Or into the next round. And they reached and
Maybe
got him in the
around there.
right. They peached. Yeah. Some people said even the 5th round. And I don't know. It's almost like they drafted backwards. They went for the receiver, right?
Yeah.
What would you think was their biggest priority coming into this draft more than anything? It
I
was
mean,
pass
honestly,
rush,
like
right?
left guard, safety, edge, right? Like you can rotate between all 3 of those, and those are massive needs. I just think like, and then the edge guy they got, like, yeah, dude, hey, the dude's an athletic freak,
He's the
but
most refined of all the guys in the draft.
yeah, because he's damn near 30 years old,
Yeah,
going
but
up against 18-year-old left guards.
the way I
So
look at
like,
it is this: if I get 5 great years out of a guy who doesn't have a really big injury history, who's a refined pass rusher that comes in on 3rd down and can get
yeah,
rush on the passer, I'll take that.
I hope
That's
so.
5 great years
He's
that
so
you can get.
light. He's so light at that position. Like I want someone who's a little bit heavier that can go up against these left tackles, or you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna they run to his side, it's over. It's a wrap. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
there's no left guard gets one hand on him. The dude's 215 pounds, and that was coming into the combine. So how much does he really weigh?
Well, Cassius Howell was the guy that everybody wanted, and he had tiny little arms, right? He
Yeah.
had T-Rex arms. Everyone was
But
like,
he
"Oh, Cassius
produced.
Howell, Cassius." But every
I don't
edge
care
rusher in
about
this
measurables.
draft,
We're not playing track.
measure.
The guy
You
plays
just,
football.
but you just said something about weight.
The guy didn't really produce until his last year.
That's okay. He
And
still
he's
produced.
25 years old, going up against kids.
Yeah, but see, this draft had every type of different pass rusher that you can want. There was so many different flavors. I don't know. The way things worked out in the draft, I feel like they could have stayed where they were, gotten who they want, and then the draft proceeded as it did. The problem was they wanted more players to pick out of this draft, because they were probably going to. Kyle said they were going to have less than 6, just the way things were moving. They got 8 players. The Kalen Black pick, I think he's a good player. I just, like they said, they reached. He was the player that was going to be there way later, and you could have went and got a safety at that point.
Yes.
My thing is, did they look at the safety class and think, like any of these guys that are in this draft class stand out and say, oh, this guy is better than the 2 guys we got in the building? I didn't follow the draft. I didn't sit there and scout the draft, but you have to understand from a position of like, when you're roster construction, if you look at the guy in the draft and you don't see where there's nothing about him that would justify picking him at a certain place compared to the guys you already have on your roster, that's the only reason I could think of why they just didn't take a safety. There was that safety that everybody wanted to take at 30.
But he was gone, right? He went.
He went like a couple picks before, right? Sterling's not overly impressed by him because he's slow. He doesn't like. You're looking for a guy with deep speed, right? So you're looking for a guy with deep speed, right, to cover the half of the field. If you're sitting there at 30 and that guy is there, and you already have 2 guys on your roster that fit that role, why would you sit there and waste a pick on a safety? So I feel like I almost feel like if they swapped picks, if say they went Cassius Howell and then they stayed where they were and went and got who's the wide receiver that had the injuries that fell to the Dolphins?
Boston?
No, Denzel Boston
no.
went a lot earlier.
No, he went to the Browns.
Come on, somebody help me in the chat. I always forget his name.
See, now I'm running a blank too.
Is it Chris Bell?
Yes.
He ended up going to the Dolphins. I was actually kind of hoping that he would fall to the Niners.
Yeah.
Chris Bell. I was hoping that would be the situation. Like, hey, sit there, take your edge, right? And then don't reach on a wide receiver, and then he can come in this year with the two guys that are ahead of him, and Evans and Kirk, and you have Pearsall, and he could sit there and whenever he's ready to come back, he'd be ready, and he could be a really good addition to this wide receiver core. They didn't see it that way. And you know what would have happened, Mike? They draft him. What would everybody say? Oh, there they go again with another player that's injured. So like either way, they don't make the pick, they make the pick, doesn't matter. What really to me comes down to is they've had such bad drafts the last handful of years that they were not going to get the benefit of the doubt on this draft.
Exactly.
Again,
and that's kind of where I stand, Aaron. That's the reason why. It's because I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay, I see their direction. And they admitted themselves that they didn't even reach in this draft. They said that with arrogance on,
You saw the clip with, I hate Grant Cohn, but you saw that clip, right?
Which one?
He questioned, he goes,
when he asked John. Yeah,
like you're going against consensus and like it ends up, resulting in a lot of reaches and you could he was pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's your opinion.
Kyle said they felt good about not having to reach in this draft. And I'm like, bro, you can't just sit up there and say that. Just shows me their self-awareness in the building is just way off and their draft process hasn't changed. And that's why I can't give them the benefit of the doubt until they can produce. If they hit in this draft, all great.
Cool. Would you be the first guy to come back and be like,
trusting them? Right?
Will you be the first guy to admit you were wrong if that happened?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Oh, Lori Matthews is just, she's beside herself that I was so positive after the draft. I don't know, man. Like, everybody was mad and everybody was pissed. And I'm like, it's freaking April. Let me get mad in training camp when guys that we drafted can't beat out other guys. And there's reports that guys look overmatched. And there's reports that this guy can't get on the field. Then the negativity will come from me.
So speaking of the draft history, right? What does this draft say about their last draft or their last couple of drafts? Jordan James, they don't trust him to be the number 2. They had to go get this guy. He was the number 2 on their board. They had to snag him, right? They couldn't miss out. No way. What does it say about Ricky Pearsall? They had to go get Stribling, right? As their first pick in this year's draft. So if they're pretty much admitting to us, and what did them having to go out and go get Osa, use a 3rd round pick, to go trade when they just spent those picks on Alfred Collins and CJ West?
I don't ever think either of those guys are really specialties at rushing the passer.
No, and but I think what did they do that was good? They didn't stop the run either. So I mean, they had to use a 3rd round draft pick to go get another defensive tackle after they used 2 draft picks last year to draft defensive tackles.
I mean, you're right. So, you have a point. And there was talk that the Niners, with the way that they made moves in free agency and the draft picks being what they were, they didn't think that coming into this year, the guys that they had on the roster defensively could push them over the top.
Yeah.
But also, when you draft late all the time, that's another thing. And that's the Niners aren't drafting in the top 10 every single year. And I think that's when you draft that late, like, I don't know if it gives you a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
They're at number 11 last year, Aaron.
They were at number 11. I don't know. Like, I'd be interesting to see what these guys look like 2 years in. Because sometimes, Mike, you don't have an idea what you have as a draft pick for about 3 years. Like, what's his name? Renardo Green looked pretty good his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Kind of struggled last year a little bit, kind of scuffled.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to kind of turn it around again. Not the greatest.
He's shown flashes, that he can, he can play.
Upton Stout had a slow start last year, right? He came on at the end.
Major flashes.
I feel like Alfred Collins made some flashes. He's a turnover forcing machine in the interior. I feel like the guys. I would like to see them get more starts at like starts instead of being a rotational defensive tackle. I want to see them over a period of time when they're together. If they're still sucking ass and they're always on the field, that's one thing. But like you're sharing time with people, ton of injuries around you, had a lot of non-talent on the field. There was just a lot of bad football players. I mean, your defensive, you're not going to drafting defensive tackles in the mid rounds are not going to save your season when you have so many other holes on your team. Like unless you got the second coming of Warren Sapp or a Reggie White on your defensive line, I'm not really too upset that they were kind of like last year.
Yeah.
Does it say something that they had to go and get another defensive lineman in Romello Height? Yeah. And then they went and got another defensive tackle, a pass rush tackle, which a lot of people like. That was one of Sterling's biggest favorite picks. Let's see if I can find in my notes here.
Yeah.
Grayson Halton.
6'3",
293, a really quick interior defensive pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think that's his favorite pick, followed by the Carver Willis pick, the offensive tackle who's going to end up probably being a guard or a center. You can say what you want about the Niners addressing offensive line this offseason. They added 5 players. They addressed it not in the conventional way where they go out and they get one really great guy and then everybody else sucks. At least there's going to be a competition where they're not just going to hand a job to, say, like a Jake Brendel or whoever the left guard is going to be. Left guard is going to be a competition, and I'm looking forward to that. But like the Grayson Halton pick,
I would trade 3 of those guys for one average starter.
Okay, that's fair though. I don't have a problem with you saying that. Yeah. What about the Grayson Halton pick?
No, I think like picks like that. Those are the picks that you make in those type of rounds, right? Like, perfect pick.
You have to trade guys.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. My problem are, picks 1 through 3 again. So it's just the value, the talent that was there, and I think they reached again. So until John Lynch can prove otherwise, because he hasn't proven that he can, I'm not just gonna wake up and believe that they fixed everything and they figured it out. So I'm hoping. I think Stribling has a lot of potential, like you said. He's fast. He's tall. He blocks.
He can block.
Off. Yeah.
I was watching a couple highlights. He took a corner like into the end zone.
Yeah.
And just completely obliterated him. And I was like, okay.
And then
feel that.
Black, the running back, I don't really see his role in this offense. So like if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, he's the running back. He's the starting running back.
Right.
Like he doesn't catch the football. He's not a receiving back. That's a complete difference from CMC. You know what I mean? He's more of like isn't he like more of like a zone or like between the tackles?
They call him like a contact runner where he's pretty solid against contact. Like he's able to break tackles.
But what's
they wouldn't consider him the fastest.
Biggest relief security blanket is Christian McCaffrey out in the backfield, right? Like they have to have some type of receiving running back.
You're not going to get that
running back that high.
You're not going to get that in the 3rd or the 5th round. This draft just didn't have that dynamic of running back, which is why I think a lot of people had the problem with them picking him in the 3rd, because there was not really one running back in this draft where you say, yeah, that's the guy. That's the Christian McCaffrey's backup for the future. The running backs in this draft were pretty pedestrian.
I would have rather have kept Brian Robinson Jr. Honestly,
he wanted an opportunity to start, and he's going somewhere else to be a backup. So whatever.
Behind Bijan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to start there.
So I think the Niners wanted to bring him back, but whatever. Go be a backup in Atlanta.
I'm just concerned about CMC's health. If he goes down, this offense is in.
They're in dire straits. But then again, I mean, they do have a lot of receivers. I mean, they could throw the ball 60 times a game. I mean,
Stribling's going to be the new running back.
No, I think Stribling's going to be your new Juwan Jennings with speed. I think Kyle has a idea of how he wants to use them.
That's what he said about Trey Lance.
Right, but they really have an idea of how to use this guy. They want to get him in space. He is a yak guy. So. He can break tackles.
They need yak. That's one thing that's been lacking.
How much would you love if him catching a screen and going 80 like Debo used to do?
Oh, yeah. We need that Debo factor, right? Like we haven't had that type of explosive offense where someone can just take it and go to the house. We miss that desperately in this offense. So if he can provide that, that's great. It was just, like Lori's saying, like CMC's a unicorn. I get it.
He is.
I'm not saying you're gonna find CMC in the draft. I'm saying you have to find someone who can match some of the traits, right? Like someone who's a receiving back that can give you that threat, because Brock Purdy's gonna need that, because you know why? They didn't upgrade the offensive line, and he's gonna have to go up against Seattle and the Rams twice a year. And guess what he has to do? Get that ball out fast.
He's going to be scrambling his ass off just like last year. We'll see, though. Teams don't always come back and be the best, be the same. I mean, Seattle got exposed in that Super Bowl. Or, excuse me, did I say Seattle?
Yeah.
What was I trying to go for? Never mind. Don't listen to me. I think I was about to say that the Patriots got exposed. Like, sometimes, I think sometimes you could see a team and they could be really great all year, and then they play a superior team, and you can kind of see that they're maybe not as good as they're cracked up to be.
Like my thing is like, look, our division. What's our number one goal? Get out of our division, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Seattle and the Rams, and what are they very good at? Trenches.
Yep.
Their D lines and their offensive lines are very good, and we didn't do anything to protect Purdy anymore.
Nope, you're right. And I did not.
That's what really, really frustrates me, because we got our ass handed to us because of that main reason.
Yep.
So, the Rams, they loaded up. I think they got way better this offseason. They got Trent McDuffie, and we answered back with Stribling. So that cancels that out. So
yeah, but how many more years did they have in that particular core before they did?
They got old. Who cares?
A lot of fans will, when in 3 years we're sitting there picking at the 10th pick in the draft and we have nobody.
Hey, if you get that Super Bowl, that it doesn't matter.
And you're right, Holly. We've had this discussion too.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The Niners, would you take a Niners winning the Super Bowl if they were going to be bad for the next 5 years? I would. I hate to say that.
10 years. 10 years. Yes, absolutely.
I think I would come back to you on that in about 4, and you'd be pissed. You'd be like, "Why are they still bad?"
No. I need one. I have to have one.
I know. Yeah. I want to have another one in my lifetime. Yep. Let's talk after the draft. They still have a couple positions in need.
Mm-hmm.
They really need another edge player, and they really need a safety.
Yeah.
And they've freed up. They have the most cap space free right now in the National Football League.
Yeah.
At almost 70 to 71 million. That's insane, bro.
It is.
Say what you want about
their drafting.
Right, but say what you want about their drafting. Parag is a genius because they have a bunch of high-priced players. Some guys are coming due next year, and they have money to do some stuff this year if they wanted to make a couple moves before the season or a move in the middle of the season if they're having a good year. And they're still rolling into next year. But yeah, they're going to pay some guys, but they're still going to have enough money if they want to go make some free agent moves next year.
Yeah.
It's like if they could just put the two together. If the drafting could come up with the bookkeeping and how they manage their roster, it would be amazing. Because they're when it comes to finessing the cap and figuring out ways to do things, the Niners are one of the best at it. I think Parag brought that over, like, oh, he's cheap. The Niners aren't cheap. They brought in some really good players in the last 10 years to help them compete for a Super Bowl. They ain't the Browns, okay? They're not like being cheap would be a team that just never brings in any help ever. The Niners do. It's just they haven't won it. So nobody's going to be like, yeah, that was the guy that got us over the top. They're like, yeah, but he wasn't good enough. So that's what their excuse is going to be like. Yeah, they do spend money, but I guess it wasn't the right player, so it's not good enough,
Yeah. I wonder how much total they need to roll over for next year. I know it's a lot. I know that's for sure.
Who's coming to Roost next year? I mean, Bosa's
everybody. Purdy's contract kicks in. So I know they have a lot of bills next year, which is fine.
Yeah.
They made the space. But I still think, obviously they have enough money to make probably like two solid moves. But like you said, they might be waiting until the trade deadline to see if they need to add somebody in the middle of the season due to injuries if they're still in contention. So maybe they're waiting off on that. But I think we talked earlier, like we didn't want just one edge. We both said they need at least two guys, right?
Yeah, they can't be done. There's guys out there. They got, Jadeveon Clowney. They got Joey Bosa,
Kyle Van Noy, right?
Kellen Benoit. We got the ex Saint in
Oh yeah,
Jordan, Cam Jordan.
Yep.
Hell, huh.
They need somebody, Aaron. They need somebody. They can't just go into the edge this year.
I know that they brought in an undrafted free agent that a lot of guys are hooting and hollering about, like Sterling. And yeah, I'm not really excited about that either. Like people are trying to sell me on an undrafted. I'm like, guys,
yeah,
he's a camp body. Stop it.
Exactly.
It doesn't. We do this every year. Where we like, okay, last year we didn't do a lot of signing of. That was one of the things Larry Krueger
anybody.
said. Yeah, they didn't because they were cutting so much money. They didn't even bring in on the undrafted guys.
Luke
They like
Farrell. Oh, buddy.
I'm really interested to see what they do with the punter that they brought in, if they actually end up using the punter, because they did bring a punter in for UDFA. Hey, I give them credit. They didn't draft it. They didn't draft the punter.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah, they didn't draft the punter. They went and got one UDFA. I think a lot of Niner fans would be like, okay, start. It's a start.
Yep.
They didn't waste a draft pick on him. I could be okay with that.
I see you, John.
It's like for every one thing they do great, they do like three things wrong. And I feel like that's what pisses you off the most. It's like again, they come off of a Super Bowl championship and they have a draft like they did this year where they're kind of projecting some guys, then you're okay with it. But when you're kind of going kind of all in, but still not all in,
yeah,
they're kind of going all in, but they're still not.
It's like,
what are we doing this year? Are we going all in, or are we kind of like we're going to try to go all in? We're going to see where we are at the trade deadline, and then maybe we'll go all in at the trade deadline. Like, I feel like they did a lot in free agency. I mean, they brought in Christian Kirk, they brought in Mike Evans, they brought in a couple veteran corners. They brought in who else did they bring in free agency? They brought Dre Greenlaw back. Yep. I'm okay. I'm okay with that move, but I still think they need another linebacker. I know that they drafted. Where is he?
Haggard.
Where is he? We had the guy Ephesians Prysock, the corner, 6'4".
Oh yeah.
Or 6'3", 190, and then we had Jaden. Why do I have Jaden Duggar? I think I have the heights and weight wrong. He's like a 6'4" linebacker. Yeah, huge. Kind of a project. Isn't going to be ready this year, but he has a lot of athletic ability. A lot of range. I would assume that this might be the offseason where Nick Martin takes a step up if that concussion is all healed up.
He's going to get cut.
Right. Like that's a huge. I feel like that's a huge one that nobody's really talking about.
Yeah. Because
no, I would not bring back Floyd for
plays Fred's spot, and Martin would take over for Greenlaw if he got hurt. So Nick Martin better step it up. He better figure it out.
Nick Martin needs to play way better. They got rid of D Winters. They traded him to the Cowboys, which is weird. Don't understand their fascination with trading with the Cowboys all of a sudden. I don't know what that's all about. All of a sudden, the Cowboys are like our best friend for trades.
Yeah.
I do like the corner. He's a big corner that they drafted.
Yeah.
Physical, had a little bit of the grabby issue in college, but he's humongous.
Yeah.
And he's fast. And he's physical. They have I
trust Raheem Morris's defensive picks more than Kyle's offensive picks. So
true. That's why I think the Romello Height pick. I'm
track record of finding defensive talent. So I'm gonna trust him on the guys he wants and the guys he likes. So we'll see what happens.
Demetrius Flowers is available linebacker. Let's bring back. I feel like we should just bring back freaking what's his face that we brought in last year.
Andre Campbell, isn't he sitting on the couch somewhere?
No, not him. Who do we bring in that He ended up going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Kendricks.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Kendricks. I
Eric
mean,
Kendricks.
you can have. Who cares? We can have an old linebacking core. So what? Like, can't
He's
be young
probably
at every position.
probably going to come back to us. I have a feeling.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, we couldn't find anybody. That's all we got. Sorry. Yeah, edge and I'd be interesting to see if they bring in a veteran safety. Man, I am not feeling good about the safeties.
Me neither. I just will they? I don't know.
Sterling seems to think that if they improve their pass rush, then maybe the onus won't be so much on the secondary. You know?
Yeah, but we need another edge.
I know we're like one.
He's coming back off one leg.
Right, and Michael Williams, exactly. That, yeah. Well, I think we need 3. What are you talking about?
We
2.
might. Let's get
bring
5.
Let's bring him right. Get some guy used to work at a like a chicken wing place, but he played a pass rusher in college. Bring him in. I don't care.
Try him out.
Try him out. That's so crazy though, man. Like they're coming out of the draft and they still have 2 really big holes on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have went double down and just went and got 2 edge players in the draft like we did in that one mock draft.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go get another edge. Let's get 2 of them.
Yeah.
They only went 1. The Romello Height one, I think, is what kills everybody is because they kind of waited and they almost ran out of edge picks in this draft.
Yes.
Like that was the dumb thing. That was the dumb thing about this draft. And I've been pretty positive is this trading back, waiting. And then we almost get stuck with getting like all the edge guys being gone. Like by the time they got Romello Height, he was literally the last one on the board.
Yeah.
At least of name value.
And they wanted to trade back again at 33. And I'm like, okay, look, they said that's why their strategy is confusing to me because of what they said and what they did, right? They said this draft is very top heavy. So why are you trying to trade all the way back into the 4th round? I like, what are you trying to get here? I don't understand. If it's top heavy for you and you believe that there's only 10 to 15 guys worth, shit in this draft, why are you trading all the way back? Why do you want more picks for more shit players that aren't even going to make your team? You might as well trade up and try to get 1 or 2 starters and be like, all right, cool. We got somebody.
I really think that they were going for depth in this draft too, because that was the one thing they didn't have last year.
Yeah, but like they even said that the fall off is so drastic. Like, are these guys even depth worthy? Are they even going to make?
Well, Kyle said it's going to be a challenge to a lot of these guys to make the team.
Yeah. So why are you trading back?
Right. That's the one thing that confused me. You talk about you didn't reach, you talk about this, you talk about that, and then you come out and you say, well, it's going to be a challenge for these draft picks to make the team. Then why did you spend all this time trading back to get 8 draft picks?
Yeah. You should have traded up to 22 or whatever it is to get at least one starter.
Did a lot of people think they're doing a lot of projecting with some of their picks. That these guys are going to be ready in like a couple of years when certain other guys are out the door. Like they're drafting for the future at certain positions.
Their roster is not in that condition to do that, though.
I know.
They can't afford that.
I know. I'm like I said, there's parts of me that are positive, and I have a really good feeling, like, or at least I have a hope that like this draft class might surprise some people. But then there's that, like Kyle makes a comment about, these guys might not even be able to beat out the people that are here. Like, why'd you draft them then? Why did you accumulate all these picks if you don't really have the roster spots for them? The positive, I really like a lot of the traits on Stribling. The negative on the Stribling pick that I keep going back to is there's no promise that Kyle's going to not fall out of love with this guy. That was the first thing I said when they made the pick. I'm like, okay, I don't know who he is name value wise, but I also didn't follow the draft. People who follow the draft knew who Stribling was. Especially people, within NFL circles or guys like Daniel Jeremiah. They knew who he was. They knew that he was moving up on a lot of people's boards. We didn't know that. That's great and all, but Kyle he's weird when it comes to like guys fall in the doghouse all of a sudden. Same thing when they drafted Ramel, like the running back Black. Like, what makes you think that he won't fall in love with that? Fell out of love with that guy. That's the scary part.
And what happened to Jordan James? What happened with him? What happened with Jordan Watkins? What does that say about your previous draft that everyone thinks, no, they don't reach? Well, they literally drafted their replacements already. 1 year later. It's just kind of crazy to me. I don't know. It's just we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope these guys pan out, honestly.
I
Because
think it all
like you
comes
said,
down to health.
Stribling looks like he could be a weapon, and if Kyle can figure it out, Kyle can make him into a dangerous weapon, I hope.
What the good thing about him too is he's got guys in front of him that are going to start, so he doesn't have to be the starter
all
right
that
away.
pressure.
So maybe he's used in a specific way where people say you got to get guys warmed up, like to integrate somebody into an offense. Like, okay, he's not as refined doing this, that, and the third, right? But he's really good in space.
Yep.
Let's screen the out of him every time. And you know what? Maybe that's where in your offense, maybe that's where he begins.
Yeah.
And as he starts to get better and he plays with a veteran or two, if they decide to keep Evans for 2 years, who is better to learn behind than a guy like him who's a consummate professional? He's a Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
Like, I love Evans.
Yeah.
He's not a diva. He's not a problem starter. He's not a, team obliterator like T.O. That's where the positivity comes in. It's like, okay, they're not expecting Stribling to be a starter this year. It's just not in the cards. If they stay healthy, and that's the biggest if, he's essentially could be their fourth receiver. So he doesn't have to be ready right away, and he can work his way. And then by the time you send somebody out the door in 2 years, guess who can step right into that starting position? So I understand that pick, but then again, I don't. Because it's like, if you're picking at that spot, why not pick a starter, someone who can give you help right away? So it's to me, it's like my positivity is because I don't want to judge anybody right now. My negativity, and the part that I really don't talk about a lot, is you need starters at certain positions.
It's the process, right?
It's just, it's confusing.
It's their process. It's not.
Are they still
really
believing in Cowing? I don't think so, Pockets. I think he's long gone.
Yeah, another draft wicket. But it's their process that really frustrates me, because their roster is not set up to where they have that luxury where they can just draft first round picks or second round picks and you guys can sit for a year or two and learn. No, we need people to get on the field and produce. Like, we don't have that luxury, you know?
No, we do not.
So yeah,
it sucks.
But hey, I get
Mike, it. The season isn't. I mean, we still. It's late. It's early May.
Yeah.
So there's that. We don't have to worry about it right now. We can relax, enjoy the summer. You can go on another boat trip. Have fun in the sun, flex your muscles, all that stuff.
Freaking ruining my damn vacation, man. These guys.
When I saw you on the boat, I'm like, Mike, dude.
I was so mad, bro.
Put the phone down. I almost messaged you. Put the phone down. If I was your wife, I would have chucked your phone into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's what we're doing right now? We're
talking
about
she was like, why are you so angry? I'm like, they just fucking reached again. She's like, what are you talking about? We're on vacation.
Reach for what? Reach to? Yeah, I understand her on that one. Brandon Ayuk, that situation still unresolved. Did you see that? Did you see the report that like teams are trying to get a hold of him and he's just unavailable?
Oh, I'm not surprised about that. Who cares?
I made a point. I said this. I said, I deal with mental health problems. I have really bad clinical depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever you want to talk about. But so there's a part of me that is like, there's something seriously wrong with this guy. There has to be, right?
Yeah.
Could he be addicted to painkillers? Could he be that his knee was so bad that he doesn't think he's ever going to be able to come back from it? Like, we just want to know what's wrong, and like, we'll go on with our lives. And the fact that the Niners are not going to do right by him, and they shouldn't, right? It's just somebody made a point. I forgot what podcast it was on. He's like, if I'm them, I cut him right before the first game of the regular season. I would personally do the same thing. Why not?
Why not?
Because
I don't know. I don't know if it's like painkillers or stuff like that, because Aaron, he had this crazy attitude before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was always a little bit of a pissy pants.
Yeah, he wasn't really a captain type. He was always remember the whole shorts gate. He doesn't want to listen. He's being immature. He was trying to film his documentary. His girlfriend or his wife at the time was a ghetto hood rat who was talking all this shit online, like about the 49ers and all this stuff. And it's like, Dude, I don't know. I think his mentality and the people around him are not giving him good advice. And when he had people that were in his corner, like, bro, like,
TJ
step it up.
Houshmandzadeh is
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm like done with this dude. Like, what are
And
you doing, bro?
even Kyle, the guy who begged for the 49ers to give him the contract,
And not
and right
trade him.
after, he disrespects Kyle. And that's just the one thing that we saw. We don't even know what's going on behind closed doors, right? In meetings before the Shortsgate bullshit that happened. So, like, a guy vowed for you to get your $50 million and you can't even listen to him to put on the correct shorts. Like, there's something deeper going on there. I think it's an attitude thing. It's a little bit, he's surrounded by maybe bad people that give him bad advice. And I don't know, but this started before his knee blew up.
Have you ever heard the saying, "Show me who your friends and it'll show me who you are"? Like,
Yes.
the people you surround yourself with will tell you a lot about a person. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
These guys get rich. They have a bunch of friends that are hanger-ons that don't have any money.
Yep.
That are just with them because they know that as long as they're friends with BA, they're going to have a good life.
Yeah.
Guys that if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't have no money. They'd be broke. Wouldn't be able to help them. And you got it, like I said, you got a toxic ass woman who's talking.
It really turned me off when I saw her like talking online and stuff. I'm like,
I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the women, but dude, check your woman.
Yeah, that's a whole separate thing. When you're dealing with contract negotiations at work, like, you don't need her going online.
Yeah, it's going to affect her life anyways.
Yeah, and who is she to?
Why are you trying to ruin him making money when you know you're the one that, if you could, you would take his money and leave him and not be with him? And like, what are you doing? Like, when I say check your woman, like, you sometimes, man, like, listen, I'm all about respect and women and everything, but like, you got to check some people sometimes to listen. Don't say nothing when it comes to my money.
Like, he's surrounded by people with that mentality and that kind of attitude. I don't know, dude. I think he was led down a wrong path, and he just has a crazy attitude problem. And maybe him getting injured, magnified that, to a whole nother thing with his, mental health or whatever. But
yeah,
it started before he got hurt for sure.
I'm willing to like the season. I have a weird like feeling going into this season as far as the team, because it's like it made some veteran moves, some that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy has a lot of weapons, but they're all kind of old, and they're the injury concern for me. I haven't talked about it a lot because the season's been over. That it's still a huge concern for me going into next year, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm still worried about the injuries.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm telling you right now, bro, if you guys thought I was insufferable last year complaining about injuries, you think Mike's insufferable talking about how much he hates this draft and how much he hates Kyle and John's drafting? When I get into I'm mad at them for not addressing the injury mode part of the offseason, look out. Because
they did, Aaron. They got the hydro pool, hydroponic. Come on, man.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so worried. I'm so worried about it.
This is the deal, Aaron. If the 49ers stay healthy, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's the way I see it.
And if they don't stay healthy, they're going to finish with 6 wins.
Probably.
Do you think they're still good enough to take at least one game against the Rams in Seattle next year?
I think they'll steal one game. I don't know which team yet. I'm not confident enough to say that they will get one from the Rams, which unfortunately I really, really want them to split the series versus the Rams, but I just don't know. The Rams are just so loaded on paper. You know what I mean? It's just they're so good. And I don't know, playing them week 1, I think gives us a pretty big disadvantage because Kittle probably won't be ready. Who knows if Bosa or Williams is going to be there. We're still going to be shorthanded. And if we play them,
isn't that crazy? You go into another season,
we're going to have more injuries. So I don't know. If it was like week 3 or 4, like I'd be like, okay, we'll be in the rhythm. We'll probably get 1 or 2 of these guys back. We'll be all right. But week 1, ooh, that's going to be hard.
But at the same time, the Rams sometimes take a little bit to get going in the season. and then they catch fire. I mean, we beat them last year in their own place in a game we had no business winning. No business winning.
Yeah, I know.
Healthy, we're a way better team than that team was last year. Do I still think the Rams have a huge advantage when it just comes to quarterback? Yeah. I mean, and people are like, I just said this last year, and I meant this in a totally respectful way, where Stafford is in his career compared to Brock Purdy. It's not a comparison, right?
Yeah.
And if I had to make a pick of like who I'd want, of course I would go for a guy like Stafford. Stafford is that good. I love Brock. I am a Brock Purdy simp. Okay. I love the guy. He's my dude. But let's not be stupid and let's not be weird and try to lie to ourselves. Like, you know, he's on another level and he's at the end of his career and he's still really, really good. So until that man is not the quarterback of the Rams, until Ty Simpson is their quarterback, it's still going to be a problem. Seattle, absolutely. I don't know, man. Like, they scare me from a defensive line perspective, but I will say that the Niners got a couple of really good veteran receivers. Pearsall, if he's healthy, and then you have, you know, maybe they find a mismatch with this dribbling cat, and all of a sudden, like, oh, that's what speed looks like against this defense. Now they have to respect it. Like, all of a sudden, you got a guy.
Run the ball. We couldn't run the ball against them at all,
right?
And they didn't do anything to address that.
I mean, they did. They added 5 offensive linemen from draft and free agency.
Come on, Aaron, those don't count.
They do count. They do count.
Not a 5th round going against Leonard Williams, some 5th round draft pick that they have no idea about.
Craver, what is his name? Carver. I think he's gonna. I have a good feeling about him.
Jake Brendel's still the center, and they can't run on short yardage situations because Leonard Williams is going to take him to the back shed and beat him silly.
I feel like Carver Williams is going to surprise a lot of people when he becomes the left guard of this team.
I mean, that's great, but Brendel's still the center, and either way, if he is the left guard, that's fine. But he's still a rookie, and all rookies go through growing pains, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to be, bro. It's May. I'm trying to be positive. I have plenty of time.
I get you.
I have plenty of time to get sour about this team.
Very true.
Not a super active night on YouTube. Not a lot of people in the chat here tonight, but
because it's my fault because I ruined the stream time. Thanks to this guy.
It's okay. We thought it was Aaron's technical difficulties, but it was Mike's.
It was definitely my fault. That's what happens when I come back from vacation. I'm all discombobulated.
Well, we have the release of the let's try this again. The release of the schedule coming out. So first, I think the cover 3 guys, we're trying to figure that one out. But then me and you can also probably do our own schedule prediction as well too. So there's that. Maybe we'll do. I don't know. Maybe we'll all go on the cover 3, or I'll do the cover 3, and then we'll do that. You know, maybe the following day or whatever. I don't know. Is it in like the 12th or something that's coming out? It's been the 12th.
Yeah, sometime next week, I think. I don't know if there's actually a date. Is there?
No, there isn't a date set yet. But
no.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be sometime next week.
Yeah. But yeah, this is getting to that point in the off seasons where nobody cares.
Yeah.
Unless you're Grant Cohn or Jesse Naylor or Larry Krueger, any big shot freaking content creator. I don't care what your thumbnails, I don't know what your titles are from freaking ChatGPT. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They just don't care. But everybody, take care. Have a great rest of your, what is it, Wednesday evening?
Yes, Wednesday.
And Mike, I'll see you hopefully next week.
Yep.
Talking schedule release, and anybody else in the chat. Thanks for coming through. Take care. Talk to you guys later. Peace.
All right. Adios.